white people ultimately don't need other races in order to succeed, in order to be ourselves. Absolutely not.
So how do you think America became the greatest economic nation without...
Not through black people.
Oh, it wasn't? It wasn't because of free labor?
Are you talking about slavery?
No, I'm talking about slavery and also what happened after slavery, which Douglas Blackman talked about, slavery by another name. So I'm trying to understand, when you say didn't need it, how do you think America became the greatest economy that it did? How do you think that happened?
Through the genius of Europeans.
How was it the genius of Europeans when the fact of the matter is it was actually King Cotton that supplied the economic means for America to do so? And that was a result of free labor from black people.
Look, the whole point here is that who creates these systems? Who creates these business models and businesses?
Slavery was a business model?
Well, yes, it was a business model.
I asked you again, okay? You said we don't need anybody else.
No.
But the reality is, American history proves you wrong. The fact of the matter is, there is no great America. You can't sit here and talk about that greatness without other.
We never intended them to be anything other than a slave. But they began to grow in number and in power, and eventually they fought their way to some freedom. So we became even more cruel, and to keep our black Americans down, we lynched. But yet they rose. So then we used the welfare system, the criminal justice system, to keep them down, to contain them, to destroy them. But yet they rose, and they're rising. Then we built prisons and jails to hold them. Yet they rose. And so now we are doing exactly what the Pharaoh did at the end, sending out a decree: kill them. So until we admit that when we wrote this Constitution that all men are created equal, that we never intended to include our black brothers and sisters, our nation may end up facing exactly what the Egyptians faced when they refused to let God's people go. So I'm going to say this to my white fellow Americans, that the bloodshed that is on its way is not on the hands of our fellow black Americans, but is on our hands. We are the ones that are refusing to let God's people go. We are the ones that are refusing to acknowledge that we do not value our black brothers and sisters as equal individuals or equal Americans as us white men. And to my black brothers and sisters, the racial issues, as I've said, have been there from the very foundation. But why do we see it more? Because there's a shifting. See, us white men have been at the head since the foundation. But we've had a black president. And you know, we've done everything in our power to keep him from really changing things. Now we have another minority rising to the top, a white female. What does that say? Those of us who are white men who have been at the head are now starting to see and fear that we are going to become the tail.
I just want to let this fact be known that was let known to me as a younger man, and I refuse to believe it because I didn't have the intelligence level to process it, but I'm going to give it to you. The reason that a lot of white men are racist towards black men is because they feel inferior, and they would be right. I mean, we're talking about the same people that we enslaved in this country for hundreds and hundreds of years and then didn't give them any rights and made them fight tooth and nail for every right that they ever got. And they're still right here next to us doing the same shit that we're doing. And you feel that inferiority. Bro, it was literally common knowledge that was taught to us by adults, and we all knew this to be true, that the only reason that black men jumped higher than us or ran faster than us is because they had an extra muscle in their leg. Bro, we really came up with that just so that we can cope. You feel inferior because the people that we enslaved and oppressed for hundreds of years still made it eye level with us and more. And what did they make from all that? After hundreds of years of the most heinous violence of enslavement, they made beautiful music and beautiful culture and a beautiful community, and they made America as great as it is. And what did white people do in our white system at the end of that and still try to do? We try to take them all and cram them into the most poverty-stricken area, give them no resources, and then blame them for their bad living conditions. A black woman told me when I was a young man, and it pissed me off at the time because I was too dumb to understand, that white men have the highest rate of masculine fragility. We are so insecure, and the second that we feel shamed or embarrassed, we become very dangerous. Tell me the lie. Show me where the lie's at. Because make no mistake, people, I'm not talking just from something I heard from a video. I'm talking from experience. I am from the predominantly white town, the very small, very predominantly white town. I grew up listening to my grandfather, my friends, everybody saying the N-word. I said the N-word growing up. I didn't just have these ideologies with me from day one. These are things that I had to unlearn first from where I was from and relearn from people who knew better. Smarter people with bigger worlds to live in. And I had to go through a lot of embarrassing moments. Like the one time that I told this black girl that you would easily be able to tell a white person and a black person apart, even if their skin color was the same.
Once you start doing the deep dive and actually looking up and understanding these statistics, you will see that white people are some of the biggest hypocrites ever. Let's take black on black crime, for example. Historically, 85% of all white murders are done by another white person. For black people, it's around 88%, so it's not that much off. Now, we can talk about sex crimes such as rape and stuff like that, right? They make up nearly 70%. God damn. And I love how they try to fear monger against black people. Oh, we're violent, we're this and that. Listen, don't worry about us unaliving y'all. Worry about them drugs. Bro, they account for nearly 70% of drug overdoses since like 2015. Like, this shit is crazy, but they try to put the blame on us. No, bro, I know statistics. They can't hit me with that, bro.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to yet another beautiful episode. So today we're going to be looking, or rather reacting into these individuals. There is a creator here who is in a setup that they're talking about the black people and the white people. And then there is this person who's actually actively saying that the black people, the white people rather, do not need black people. And we've had this conversation like over and over again, and up to this point I don't think if it matters who needs who or who needs the other, because I feel like due has to be paid where it's valid. We have to pay due where it's valid. And this is some of the things that has been making people going back and forth with who own America and who doesn't own America. And we can actively agree that the great America that people are talking about right now, the development and everything, has been largely contributed by the slaves. And then the slaves, we all know they were the black slaves. So these slaves actually came from each part like of Africa, and they were the people who actually were providing labor. And remember, that was free labor. These people are providing free labor to make America great, to build railway lines, to build the roads, to build hospitals and all this. But now we are having this conversation because a number of people in the internet, they are very raged to a point that they think that America just grew itself like that. And remember, when we are talking about slavery back then, the white people did not even want to touch the coal. The white people did not want to go to the farms because they considered those kind of jobs as dirty jobs, which were only able to be done by the black societies, by the black communities. And they even go further and denied these people just common rights, like going to school. Even you couldn't even eat on the same table that your master was eating, or leave alone even the table, because I believe they had like quarters and their families were staying in the quarters. They couldn't eat the same food that this family was eating. And so now people are just raged because once that was done, when slavery ended, and people were still the white people were still trying to brainwash the black people, the black community. And the black people went to school actually, and they were performing better. They were performing better than even the white people. It's only that they were not getting that particular opportunity to be able to explore their talent, to be able to do any other thing. Like, look at the look at the American industry, like we're talking about the talent industry. It's really huge, and a larger percentage of people who are making that are the black people. Remember, like we're talking about Coachella, and people are like, okay, fine, if Beyonce is coming, I'm coming. So that is revenue actually being created into this particular country, and yet we have other people who are saying like, we don't need blacks, they need us more. And I feel like people did not know, like we are coming to a point where blacks are free and they're able to prove themselves. They're able to do a couple of things that the previous regime did not really know if a black person could do such a thing, you know. And it's becoming so hectic that they are seeing blacks as a threat, you know. They're seeing blacks like people who do not belong, like people who cannot be included in certain topics in certain ways, and it's really sickening. So ladies and gentlemen, what is your opinion about this topic? Do you feel like really the white people did not need the black people? Put, or rather leave your comment down below. I'll be really glad to interact with you in this session. And ladies and gentlemen, just in case you're new here, my name is Yvonne and you are welcome to being part of my online family. And remember guys, the only way you can support me is by subscribing. To those who have subscribed, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. To my new subscribers, thank you really much. I appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and you know how we do. Until next time.